guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Yeah, is the preacher, aka Pastor Luck, is back in the building. Hey, yo, before we even get anywhere, subscribe, like. You got to make that happen ASAP. Hey, Moses, Elder, what's good with you, man? How's the Sabbath?
Good, man. Got a lot of sleep today, dude. That's all it was. All it was sleep today. So yeah, it was a good day. It was a good day.
Good. I ain't getting no sleep, so it's all good. I've got enough energy, still ready to run this thing. Listen, man, this is an exciting time right now for me, especially if you love sports, right? I've got all types of soccer going on 24/7, right? And I'm excited about that. I got football news coming out as far as the NFL constantly rolling. I got college football news, something I've been hammering for the minute. It finally might be happening. And you know we got playoffs, baby. NBA playoffs going on. Even the Stanley Cup is still going on, even though the Florida Panthers lost, and I'm disappointed. But we still got the Stanley Cup going on. So there's a ton of sports going on. I ain't even mentioned tennis, boxing. I know Moses is a huge boxing fan. Like there's a ton of sports going on. And so, you know, we're glad to be back. But we're going to start off right now with what's been going on my TV right now. We got Utah Jazz versus Kawhi. Nah, Playoff Pete is showing up tonight, Moses. Playoff Pete, he's in the building tonight. He going off. So we got Utah versus the LA Clippers on TV right now. What you think about just the generally speaking, let's start off there. How do you think the playoffs has gone for the NBA? What do you like? What don't you like? Things of that nature.
No, playoffs been good, been exciting. I fell back a little bit because after the Knicks got bounced in the first round, you know what I'm saying, I laid off. Plus, I was doing a lot of working also, but it kind of brought my energy and my motivation down for playoff. It brought it down just a little bit. But other than that, I think it's good. Like the game that's going on tonight, last series against the Mavericks, I wrote the Clippers off down 0-2. I'm like, up, it's over. Kawhi leaving, wrap it up, put a bow on it, wrap it up. But I ain't gonna write them off this time. They came back. They won the series. It was in 7 games. They won the series. I'm gonna wait to see what happens. I'm gonna wait to see after tonight's game before I make a decision on that series. Early decision on the series. But I think they have an opportunity. Kawhi is doing this thing this past couple of games on the brink of elimination, and now he's doing his thing. I expect them to tie this up. I think it's gonna go 7 games. But other than that, the playoffs have been good. A couple of shockers. Your boys, they got knocked out early. Milwaukee being down in the hole that they are, but Brooklyn is a juggernaut, and the Lakers getting bounced in the first round also. But I expected it because they weren't fully healthy, and when Davis went down, I knew they were in trouble. So they probably have to retool and come back next year. But the Suns is doing their thing. And it's looking good. It's looking good. I'm kind of excited. I'm really excited to see who's crowned the champion at the end of this run.
It's funny because when we got on here with the boys, Swan and Ken, you know what I mean, we all did our playoff picks. I think all y'all boys selected the Lakers. Well, yeah. The Lakers are bye-bye. But nobody expected AD to get hurt. And so that changed the whole dynamics of that series as soon as AD. And it's funny because he tried to come back in the elimination game and play like 5 minutes. I forget how he didn't play too long. And he, sure enough, it got hurt and he had to go out. And so honestly, here's a question that just popped in my head. I wasn't even planning to talk about it. Even if AD's healthy, the way the Suns are playing right now, does LA find a way to win that series, or does the Suns still win?
No, because LA was up 2-1 on them. I think LA finds a way to bring it to a seventh game. I agree with that, because you see the way the Suns running through the competition right now, because the Suns are a very good team. Yes. And the team that I think that if they had no injuries and were healthy, that should have been the Western Conference finals matchup right there. I really believe that. But they have too much firepower. They were healthier than the Lakers, and the Lakers got bounced in what was it, 6?
Yeah.
They got bounced. I think it was 6. Yeah, they got bounced in 6. So
was it 6? I'll look it up. We'll look it up after.
They won 2 games. 6, 4-2. Yeah, 4-2.
Okay.
They got bounced in 6.
And so now let's jump straight into this. You know what I mean? We wanted to talk a little bit about Kawhi. You know, Kawhi's a monster. He basically signed a max contract, but he has the opportunity to opt out this summer. And so a lot of teams are already jockeying and saying that they want Kawhi. I've been talking to Miami Heat fans. They feel cocky and confident, like they always do, that they feel like they can get Kawhi if he opts out. Surprisingly, I didn't think the Knicks were thinking this way, but it looks like, you know what I mean, you're a Knicks fan. You're like, oh, you think Kawhi should go to the Knicks? And so I want you to answer this question in a twofold for me. One, if Kawhi does he opt out? That's number one. Does he actually opt out? No matter how his playoffs end, right? If it ends in this series or he's able to make it to the finals and lose, I don't think nobody's beating the Nets at this point. But no matter what, does he opt out? And then secondly, where do you think is his best option to go?
Your first question, I do think he opts out, but I think he opts out if they get bounced this round, second round. If they don't make the Western Conference Finals, or if they don't make if they don't make the Western Conference Finals, I think he opts out and goes somewhere else. Because there was rumbling ever since last year when Doc was the coach that he wasn't really feeling being on the Clippers with the team that he has right now. I do think he opts out and tries and goes somewhere else. Now, if he makes it to the finals, I think he does not. He opts. Well, he doesn't exercise that option. They go back for another year and they try to again the retool and they try to come back again and win that championship. I really do believe that. Now, if he does opt out, he has a plethora of team that he can go to.
Where's he going?
I'm pretty sure everybody would want Kawhi Leonard because right now he's just an assassin for hire, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So everybody wants Kawhi. Miami. I see Miami making a big push for Kawhi. I want the Knicks to make a big push for Kawhi. Because as you see right now, the Knicks, from what they came from last year with Coach Tibbs, they play defense and they're playing good. Now, I believe in the first round, they underperformed tremendously. It was a big letdown. They only won one game. It was a gentleman's sweep. But I think they need that missing piece, that one player to go with Julius Randle and all the surrounding pieces they have right now, all the role players they have right now. If they have that extra superstar, I think it'll bring them to take them over the top to maybe compete with Brooklyn. For the Eastern Conference. Now, I don't want them, like I see a lot of news out there saying about Damian Lillard, which I believe he's not going anywhere if he could trade. I do not want them to trade for a superstar because you know what it's going to do? It's going to gut our team. It's going to be just like when Carmelo came over here. We had a good nucleus around. It was just basically a whole bunch of role players that came together and they're playing very well. We got Carmelo, and we had to give almost everybody up. Gallinari, everybody that we had our bench, we gave a lot for Carmelo. And I think that if we do try to trade for somebody, a superstar especially, they're going to want high waters heaven. They're going to want everything. They're going to want our whole team. So if we get a superstar like Kawhi in free agency, I think we go ahead and do that, and that brings us over the top. But like I said, Miami would be a good spot for Kawhi also.
I'm gonna say this. As far as to answer the first question, does he opt out? I don't know. I don't necessarily think he might opt out for business decisions, but does he leave LA? I don't know if he does leave LA. I think he opts out basically. So like, let's just say, because right now it looks like Utah is a really a good juggernaut. LA should have lost to Dallas, but found a way. They found a way to come back and win in 7 games. I don't think that happens with Utah. Utah is a much better team, deeper team. I know that they're blowing them out tonight. Look at them boys already resting players. It's 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I think Utah wins this series. And if Utah wins this series, I don't know if Kawhi actually leaves LA. Once again, I think he will opt out. And I think the reason he will opt out is because he's going to want another star. He's going to want another player to come and join him, right? They already got Paul George. Add another player to come and join him. I don't know who, and get that thing still in LA. My thing is, the only reason for him to leave is to go win a championship, but he's already won 3. right? He won 2 with San Antonio. He won 1 in Toronto by himself, cementing, not by himself, but in essence by himself. He's cementing his legacy. We already know Kawhi is bona fide. Why leave? You know what I mean? You moved all the way back home to be back home. You moved there to be back home. That's the main reason you picked that team. To me, it doesn't make sense for him to leave. But listen, stranger things have happened, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I am terrible at predicting these things, right? I always say this, and the quite the opposite happens. As far as where he would go, obviously, you know what I mean, I'm a Heat lifer, and we've talked about this. I've been talking about this with Heat fans. I think Heat fans have lost some perspective in the fact that after LeBron, in essence, this Pat Riley is the GOAT. The GOAT, flat out the GOAT, especially when it comes to GMing. He was a great coach, but he's even better GM. But after LeBron, Pat Riley has struck out left and right. Like he struck out. He had a chance at Kawhi, didn't get it. KD didn't get it. White Boy, when White Boy was a free agency, White Boy chose Boston over the Miami Heat. Like, yo, like let's call it what it is. I just don't think. I think a lot of Heat fans think that, oh, it's gonna be easy. We're just gonna tell Kawhi to come and chill with us, and I don't know if it happens. I really don't know if it happens. But what I think for the Heat, and even getting off Kawhi, what I think is more possible is that they actually trade for Bradley Beal, whose rumors have been multiple rumors throughout the season that Beal wanted to come to the Heat. I think that's more feasible. I think signing Kyle Lowry, who's going to be a free agent, is more reasonable. So I think you pair up Kyle Lowry with Bam, with Butler, and then you trade for Bradley Beal. I think that's a solid nucleus. I think that's more realistic to happen than Kyle Lowry. As far as where Kyle Lowry, instead of Kawhi Leonard, where Kawhi ends up, I think he doesn't leave LA. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think he leaves LA. I think a superstar actually joins him in LA, and they'll have a 3-headed monster. A real serious 3-headed monster. And here's the funny thing about it. A lot of people not talking about it, but y'all know that LeBron is not going to go out with his career. He's not going out like that. So he's going to go get another star to join him in AD. I don't know if they got the space, but they're going to create it somehow to bring another star into LA. And so your boy has to find a way. Kawhi has to find another superstar to join him in the Clippers.
Speaking of LA, also, even ever since the offseason, when they started like restructuring that team and building it up, some of the moves that they made I did not like. Especially like getting Gasol, as opposed to re-signing Howard. Yeah. Like I didn't understand that, especially for the amount of money that Howard basically was almost like a vet minimum that he got in the Sixers, right? Yeah. Some of these moves were suspect. And that led to, I think, the role player not contributing when AD went down to come together. And some of the players that was free agencies was a free agent. They signed to crazy contracts also, so that they really didn't deserve it. So, like you said, they're gonna retool. They're gonna have to get some players. And one thing I want to say is that what free agents who is out there. I don't know the list off the top of my head who's going to be actual free agents, but is this going to be a superstar that's going to be a free agent that can add to any team? It's going to take trading some of your assets to get a player, a superstar player on either team, either New York, Miami, or anybody looking to upgrade at either position.
I definitely think. Like I'm about to go through this list that you just asked of free agents this upcoming offseason. No major names, but what I think happens is that in the NBA, like you don't need to be a free agent, right? Dame Dollars, if he wants out of truly wants out of Portland, like it's being reported that he might really want out of there, then you're gonna go trade for Dame Dollar. You're gonna give up what you need to give up to go get Dame Dollar. Listen, let's jump right into our next subject. You know, we love football here, and football is 24/7. It's a news cycle that's constantly going and never stops. Never stops. It's crazy. I'm always mind blown. My mind is always blown away how much the NFL can continue to captivate the news cycle 24/7. Anyway, so we know last week Julio Jones gets traded finally. He's been saying for a minute he was out of there and let me out. I'm done. I don't even know what happened. Like that thing went strange, like real fast, because Julio, one moment they cool and everything, like it's gonna be good, and then it's like I need to be out of there. He on first take, not first take, on the Shannon Sharp show, and he talking about I want out of there. Like what just happened? Anyway, so Julio is now with the Titans. Yo, that offense is legit. And so let's begin here. What do you think? How does this impact the Tennessee Titans as a contender, Moses?
They're already a contender the last couple of years. They were contenders.
Playoff contender, but now championship contender?
If they could get their defense back to 2019 defense, championship contender, because they made it to the AFC Championship game that year, right? And I believe their offense got better. As far as their defense, the defense wasn't that great last year. So I'm not too sure how the defense is going to perform this year. But as far as playoff contenders, they're a playoff team. They're the best team in the division. We could flat out say that right now. Well, I guess it's between them and the Colts, and I say they are above the Colts right now. As far as championship, I do think they make a significant stride to make it to the Super Bowl. But like I said earlier, it all depends on their defense. If their defense make a big enough stride, because to some extent, almost every team is going to get a pass because of the season that we had last year.
Right.
So every season, every team gets a pass. So essentially, for me, myself, essentially, I'm looking at what they did in the 2019 season, right? So if everything's going back smooth, we have a regular season. Can they build from their 2019 version of the team? The defense might be able to get back there. I don't. They did lose a lot of players. I know they lost Malcolm Butler, as we were talking before. They let him go. I don't know who's going to replace them on one of their outside corners. But as far as the defense, if they get the defense into, let's say, a top 15 team, 15 defense, yes, I think they're Super Bowl ready or Super Bowl bound. I do believe that. But I will say this, as far as ranking in the AFC, you say you have, first of all, you have Kansas City is going to be the number one team, right? The Colts are in there. I believe that. So you have Kansas City. I believe in Baltimore. I believe in your Dolphins, to tell you the truth. Your Dolphins up there. They're a playoff team. I really believe that. And other teams that you have also. But the top echelon teams, I consider Kansas City, Baltimore. The Browns are up and coming. The Steelers, I still consider the Steelers an upper echelon team, and I would stick Tennessee right underneath there. So yeah, they have a good chance. They have a ridiculous offense now, because you replace Corey Davis and you put Julio Jones on there. Come on, bro. So yeah, no, they made right moves on offense. It all depends on the defense, on the defensive front.
I'll say this. I think that a lot of fans like myself always had problems with Ryan Tannehill down in Miami. The one thing I always said from after the first season, I knew Ryan Tannehill wasn't an elite quarterback, but I always banged on the table and said, if you surround him with talent, he's a quarterback that knows how to get the ball to his receivers. You give him a great run game, he can do the job. Like he's like, we'll talk about this in a few moments about fantasy impact. Like for me, Ryan Tannehill jumps right to the top of my list, because I don't like to draft quarterbacks early. He automatically jumps right to the top of the list of quarterbacks that I'm going to try to get in the 8th, 9th round, 10th round. Like I'm going for Ryan Tannehill, and he's going to be my starting running back, starting quarterback. And so I love the move, right, to what they do to the offense. For me, it's I learned this from Swan. It's either you're winning a ring or you're not. It ain't no, I'm contending for a playoff. Who cares about the playoffs? Like, good for you. You made the playoffs. Good. Now go sit at home and watch real champions play. My thing is, does this move elevate the Tennessee Titans, over the Chiefs and the Bills, and I say no, they don't, right? Their Bills and Chiefs continue to be tier 1, and then actually the Ravens, Bills, and Chiefs continue to be tier 1, and then below the Titans, Colts, and the Browns are on the same level, right? Now you make a good argument. I think I kind of want to push back because you're talking about the Browns, not the Browns, but the Colts. You know, since the offseason, I've been a fan of the Colts from day one. And so I kind of find it hard. Like, I don't think the Tennessee, I don't know. Are the Tennessee Titans better than the Colts? Like, the Colts got a legit top 5 defense. They've got running backs. Their wide receivers are okay, but they've got a great offensive line, a top 3 offensive line in the league. And so you're basically hoping that Carson Wentz is the quarterback, right? Carson Wentz can show up and do his thing. If Carson Wentz shows up, like, and I don't even need an elite Carson Wentz. If Carson Wentz just shows up, I think they're better than Tennessee Titans.
I say when I compare those two teams, I compare them to, like, say, the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers in their division. They're two teams that are right there, good defenses, good offenses, and it's going to come down to maybe the last game of the season or the last matchup that they have to determine who wins that division, right? Like you said, if you look at that on paper, and if Carson Wentz is a better version of what's homeboy Phillip Rivers, you have to say the Colts are the better team in the division.
Yes.
But the problem is that you don't know which Carson Wentz you're getting, right? So if it's last year's Carson Wentz, it doesn't matter if you have a top 5 defense. You're just going to be losing a lot of close games. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's going to be. So it's right there. It's one of those matchups with these two teams. Is you think they're going to split throughout the season, and with the better records, they'll win the division. Now, if they do sweep, if either opponent sweep the other, they're the ones that's winning the division and going like that. But it's two teams that even if they don't win the division, they can make one of them can make it as a wild card. Like, there's 2 playoff teams in that same division. I do believe that. But like you said, it all depends. Like, those 2 teams, I consider basically the same skill levels on for both 2 teams. So it just depends on how basically the ball rolls in the games that they play.
Listen, I agree 100%. I think I actually think both of them will make the playoffs. The Colts and the Titans will make the playoffs. And the beautiful thing is they're actually the 14 division. They're in with the Jags and the Texans, and so they're going to sweep both. They're going to sweep both those 2 teams, and so that's 4 wins for both of them teams right now off rip. You know what I mean? And so it's crazy. Like, yeah, both the teams making the playoffs, and it'll be very interesting because you're right. Tennessee made that. No, Tennessee didn't make the championship. They made it to the divisional round.
Divisional, yeah,
and then because the championship was Buffalo and the Chiefs.
I'm talking about 2019. 2019.
Oh yeah.
They beat the Patriots, then they beat Baltimore, and then they faced Kansas City. And they lost that game. Yeah. That's
right. And so, like, woo! The Colts, I'll say this, the Colts and Titans just made it real interesting. And so that the AFC is going to be a monster. That's one of my issues with the Dolphins, and I hate to get to Dolphin talk, but my issue with the Dolphins is that there's a lot of teams in front of them. Like, they need to come ready to play. That defense needs to be top 5. Not sugar. They need to be ready to play from day one. The running game needs to be on point. Don't put too much pressure on Tua. Let Tua make the easy throws. That offense needs to open up. Let's jump up to ATL. Like, what was Atlanta thinking? Why make this trade? Like, you went out. Like, why not make this trade before the draft? Why wait till after the draft to make this dumb trade?
First of all, they needed money. Second of all, if they waited after June 1st, they saved that money. They could spread out Julio's hit multiple seasons. So that's why they did that. They had to, like we said, they needed. They could have like restructured a couple of players because if they really wanted Julio still there, he would have been there. Now they would have pushed all that money to further years down the line, and later on, you know what I'm saying, it might have hurt them in the long run. But we all assume that the salary cap is going to go up in the future years because of the TV deal. So I think they probably would have been able to manage, right? But I guess they're just ready to move on. Like, okay, let's go ahead and get rid of Julio. We're gonna save that $15 million. We could get value back as compensation as far as high draft picks for him, and almost like that Bill Belichick get rid of him maybe a year or two early, then a year or two too late. But it is Julio Jones, right? So they believe, because Julio was hurt a couple games last year, and I guess the offense did put up a decent amount of points. They didn't win a lot of games, but they put a decent amount of points. So I think they figured with adding Kyle Pitts, going back to a 2 tight end set, especially for the offensive coordinator, the coach right now is the offense coordinator of Tennessee, and they love using that as those tight ends, right? So they go back to a 2 tight end set. They think they have Ridley as a stud receiver, and they have a whole bunch of other receivers. Slot receivers, Gage, and they got another receiver on the outside. They think that the offense will be just fine without Julio, be able to save some of that money and probably use some of that money to go along with the defense, because their defense was bad last year. It was horrible. So they have a lot of other holes on their team that they probably could use that money to get some players on the defensive side, because I think just when they traded Julio, they were able to sign their draft picks, right? And that's like, how long ago did we have the draft? So that's one of the reasons why I believe they shipped them out.
I'll say this. Listen, so a lot of people, what I've heard overall is that a lot of people are saying that, like, you make this move, if you're going to make this move, you might as well have drafted a quarterback, because now you're clearly in rebuild mode. It's like, so why not draft the quarterback of the future? But I'll say this team is going to be a 4-win team. Listen, they're in a division with Carolina, the Bucks, and the Saints. I think Carolina's better than them. Clearly, I think Saints better than them. The Bucks are definitely better than them. And so they're a 5-win, 4-win team. And so they're going to have their opportunity to draft their quarterback of the future this upcoming season. And so let's talk about the real quick, the fantasy impact, because there's a huge fantasy impacts. And I'm only talking about where you're drafting players, right? So you've got Julio Jones and A.J. Brown and Ryan Tannehill. Those 3, where will you draft any one of those 3?
I'll tell you this right now. A.J. Brown is going to eat. A.J. Brown is going to be a fantasy superstar next year, especially they are a run team, especially if they have to switch coverage over to Julio, because that's who they're going to switch coverage to. They're going to roll coverage over to Julio, right? And Brown is going to eat. So I would take A.J. Brown before I take draft Julio. What round?
What round? What round you going with?
I don't know. Depending on the league that you're in, I know some people are probably going to reach and take them maybe in the second or third round. But so I say some people will reach, but so I wouldn't. What?
You're taking A.J. Brown, what, 4th, 5th round?
If he's available 4th, he's not going to be a priority for me. I know that. I'm going to tell you that.
Oh, I can't even stay in the camera right now, y'all.
No.
Whoa.
Bro, that is no, bro. Like,
no.
My setup that I'm going to, I'm hitting running backs. That's what I'm doing. So if I hit running backs, I'm looking. By the time I'm looking for a wide receiver,
which is the third round,
right?
Yeah.
There's other people with my thinking, whatever. It all depends on what the who's there. It all depends on who's there. What receiver is there? There's a whole bunch of other receivers I'm gonna take before A.J. Brown. I'll tell you this right now.
Okay. Well, okay, then I won't put you on the spot, but give me where you drafting Julio Jones then?
What are you talking about?
So he's 4th, 5th round too. Okay,
yes, then I won't know. Julio, nah, I'm not gonna tell you.
So where you drafting Ryan Tannehill?
Oh, like you said, Tannehill's gonna be like a 8th, 9th round quarterback, dude. That's why I really do believe that. Yeah, no, he's not gonna. No, yeah, because it's still gonna be a running team. It's still gonna be a running team. So the person that you need to look at on that team is Derrick Henry. That's who you need to be looking at.
I mean, of course, yeah. I mean, but Derrick Henry's going top 3. Like, that's not enough of debate. Like, he going top 3.
Like I'm saying, like, yeah.
So we already know that. So that's not even up. But I just pulled up a quick fantasy ranking. They actually had AJ Brown at number 7 as a receiver, number 7. So now I'm doing. So that means he's going second round easily.
And so he's going first round if that's that case.
No, but that's receivers.
Oh,
so you know all the running backs are gonna go first. So he'll get drafted sometime in the second round easily. So now I'm doing the overall. I'm trying to see where they have him ranked, and they got him at 24. So overall 24. So yeah, he's going top 2 easily. Not even. And I agree with it. Like with Julio on the other side. You know, I was listening to, oh my God, what's this guy's name? On the NFL Network. It starts with a B, the receiver that used to play for the Detroit Lions. He's on the NFL Network now.
Oh, Nate Burleson?
Nate Burleson. Woo! Couldn't remember that. So Nate reminded us, like, yo, AJ Brown only played 11 games and had 1,100 yards in 11 games. Now you add in Julio Jones with a run game. Oh my! With Ryan Tannehill's accuracy, Ryan Tannehill have a lot of issues, but that boy knows how to put a ball in somebody's body. And so, AJ Brown going second round easily. Obviously, just like you, I would go running back first. I won't tell y'all my little strategy. I'm already been prepping, and I see something that I could work with. But yeah, I'm definitely trying to do running back, and maybe, but he ain't gonna be there in the third round. I'm not in the leagues that we in. Not in the leagues that we in.
Who are you talking about?
AJ Brown.
Oh,
yeah, he's not gonna be in the league. In the two leagues that we share, he's not gonna be there.
The way that the league that I was in for the first time, the way I see them drafting, he's not going to be there. He's going to, top second, he's going to be gone.
You might get him in one of your other leagues. You'll definitely get him in one of your other leagues in the fourth or fifth time, because them boys don't be knowing what they're doing. Hey, all right, yo. We've been rapping for a minute now, but let's jump into last thing. I'm a huge college football fan, and I'm excited about Miami's recruiting right now. Looks like hopefully some recruiting news should be dropping soon. But major news, college football went ahead and created this basically a committee to figure out what should be the next option for college football. I've always hated the fact that it was only 4 teams. Just don't think it's fair, because definitely you've got 5 power conferences, and so it doesn't make sense to only have 4 teams in there into the playoffs. And so I've always stated it should be 8, right? I said 8, 5, the 5 conference winners. You would need to win your conference championship, and then you got 3 at-large bids. 8 teams sounds perfect, but they said, forget you, Luck, you're not smart enough. They said they want 12. And the goal is they're thinking about the recommendation is to be 12 teams, and that's huge, very huge. It gives everybody an opportunity. It gives Miami finally a chance to get into the playoffs, you know what I mean? Because it's been a while since we've been contending for some rings, and so this would definitely open the door for us. So real quickly, what do you think about all that?
Oh no, it sounds good. I'll tell you this. I'm not the biggest college football fan, but I'm telling you, if you have something like that with 12 teams, 1 goal, elimination, that's something I would watch. That I will follow throughout the whole season, knowing that it's 12 teams. Because I tell you this, when it was the computer system that was basically essentially telling you who's making it to the championship, it was just like, yeah. Yeah. To me, I'm thinking everything's rigged. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple of schools that pay, like, whoever controls this computer, programs computer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's go ahead and pay you also. We could go ahead and get into the national championship game. So ever since they went to the playoff now, I've been paying a lot more attention to the bowl games and the college playoff games. Now, if you add 12 team on there, elimination, winner takes all leading to essentially the Super Bowl of college football, I'm in it. I'm definitely excited to see it. And I really do hope that they go ahead and improve that 12-team format.
Even with 4 teams, dog, I felt like that thing was rigged. Like whoever slid the little most money underneath, you know what I mean, was going to get in, because it's 4 teams. But with 12 teams, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, waters down the season won't be as much. Yeah, that's why I'm so eager about the Dolphins playing in week 1 against New England. Because the season's so watered down. Yeah, right. No, that game's important. I'm already scared and nervous that if Miami loses to New England week 1, that hurts our playoff chances. What are you talking about? It won't hurt nothing. It's going to continue to make the regular season exciting. Everybody's going to be excited because they have a more opportunity to get into the playoffs. And it also helps that a good team, just because you lose 1 game or lose 2 games, you should still have an opportunity to go compete for a championship at the end of the season. And I love the fact that some of these games in the first round, they're thinking about making the games are on campus. Oh my, can you imagine? I saw on Twitter, somebody said, can you imagine Ben Hill Griffith Stadium in Gainesville, Florida, hosting a playoff game? Oh my, Gainesville would go nuts. Nuts. In a regular game, Gainesville is nuts. So imagine hosting a playoff game. Oh man, yeah. So I'm excited about it. I hope it happens. They're saying 2023 hopefully is when it would kick off. Hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we love talking sports to y'all. Talk to me, talk back. You know what I mean? Like my guy, my favorite preacher always says, "Hey man, talk to me. I talk back." And so find me on Twitter at SportsGenius777. Tell me I'm dumb so we can debate a little bit. Find us on Facebook. Find us on YouTube. Holla at us, man. Hey Moses, man. Any last thoughts about the sports? Anything related?
Nah, man. Just tell everybody keep your head up. Look after somebody. Like Olga say, positive. Everybody, we have to stay positive up here. Uplift our brothers and sisters. Make a change, man. All about positivity and mental health over here on this side, man. Because we care about everybody. And everybody should care about other people too. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it. Have a good one.
Facts on the mental health, y'all. Hey, remember, God loves you. He's willing to die for you, y'all. Good night. Peace.